Thank you, and thank you for inviting me here. How are you? How do you feel right now? And what is affecting you? We have been talking here about physical environment, so this very room affects us, of course. The colors, the height to the ceiling, and we have also been talking about the social environment, how we meet other people and how we react to that. Music is, in fact, a little bit of both. It's a physical environment, it's part of the soundscape, the sounds that we are moving in every day, and it's also a social environment, of course, because music is produced by someone expressing his or her feelings. So how do you feel? I'm going to talk about these things and connect these things about physical environment and social environment. We are willing to pay so much extra for a house that's situated by the seaside. But what do we really know about how the physical environment affects us? In 1997, there was a study about how mice react on their physical environment. And we talk about enriched physical environment. And what is an enriched physical environment? In the case of a mouse, it's a cage with tunnels and mazes and wheels that it can run in. And of course, it was found that the mouse in an enriched environment gets much more healthy. And you can imagine that because the environment is challenging the mouse to run in these mazes. It gets exercise. But even more astonishing, the mouse developed 15% more neurons for place recognition. And this is in fact confirming what has been believed for a while, that the human brain is not static. It has plasticity. It's able to change because of what we are doing, what we are engaging in. We develop new neurons all the time. So this fact gives hope for people who suffer from stroke or traumatic brain injuries. It's possible to come back. So how do we perceive a physical environment? How do you perceive this picture? We perceive it by looking at it and figuring how would it be to use it, don't we? How would it be to walk over this? That's our understanding of this picture. You can see that it takes a little balance to move over this footbridge, and the rails on the side might come in handy. So when we are looking at something, we are in fact activating the same neurons as if we would actually walk, because we imagined this, and it has been confirmed that perceiving something is activating just about the same neurons as actually doing. So just looking at the picture means that we are living the possibility to walk over the bridge. And that comes pretty close to what Gustav said about perceiving other people. And perceiving other people is, as we have already understood, to imitate them. We understand others by imitation, by doing. We sort of put ourselves in the other person's shoes. And in doing that, we also have a slight feeling of how the other person feels. So this is a bridge for empathy. And music is pretty much about this, because music is to communicate emotions. And it's a body language. It's a bodily understanding, what we call a procedural knowledge. And I'm going to demonstrate that now, I think. So are you ready for a demonstration? Yes. And are you ready to participate in this demonstrating? Okay. So I do ba ba boo ba ba. Ba ba boo ba doo bow. Ba 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 da boo ba ba doo bow. Ba 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 da ba. Exactly. So you now imitated me 3 times, and the last time you didn't imitate me because you just knew, oh, no, he's doing that. We have to complete with that. And these are 2 brickstones of music. Imitation is 1 brickstone. If you sing that, I fill in with the same stuff. Or completion. If you sing that, I have to do this. And you intuitively understood. I didn't give any oral instructions for you here. You just knew how to do this. And just think about this for a second. How interesting it is that you can do that. Because this is body knowledge. You can't think how to do it. You can't think how you should pose your body, because the song is produced by your body, but you can't think, how am I going to hit this pitch? How am I going to do this melody? How am I going to do this perfectly in tempo? How am I going to produce this sound? You just knew how to do that automatically. When I showed you the footbridge earlier, that was an example of perception action. We perceive the world by imagining that we are acting. We have to act in order to perceive. And rhythm is a perfect example of this. Because when we listen to a rhythm, we start to produce the rhythm ourselves. As in dancing, for instance, you listen to a rhythm and you start to move to the rhythm. But even if you are sitting on a chair and have music in the background, you are reading a book, for instance, and then you could observe on yourself that your foot starts moving. Oh yeah, it's music in the background. So that's spontaneous and automatic. And in fact, if you listen to music, you can see on brain screens that the motor areas are activated in the brain. And any part of the body might start moving. So you have a rhythmic representation in your body as soon as there is rhythm in the air. Do you recognize this guy? Stevie Wonder as a young musician. Music is, as I also said, the communication of emotion. And a skilled musician can produce just about any emotion in the listener. Many more emotions than we have words for, in fact. And it has been shown on images of the brain that this goes first to the emotional, the limbic parts of the brain, and then to our conscious thinking. So we don't think, oh, this is beautiful music because of this or that fact. We just feel it first. Metaphorically speaking, it touches the heart first and the brain then, later. An important, what's happening here? You wake up by music. That's what the point I want to make. An important aspect of emotion is arousal. And if you hear rhythmic, heavy beat music, you get aroused, like rock and roll. You can go nuts by listening to rock and roll. Even it has been shown that it's affecting our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. So the heart beats faster, you breathe quicker, and you even perform better as athletes if you listen to fast music. This is also a famous reference. It's Rocky in the Sylvester Stallone movies about Rocky. And I don't know if you have thought about it, but in all those 6 movies about this loser boxer who is coming back again and again, there is a sequence when he runs up the stairs of the Philadelphia Museum of Modern Art, and always to the same music. So music is connected to motivation. And it has been shown that music is activating exactly those areas in the brain, which is the paralimbic system, which has to do with dopamine. Music is also pattern recognition. And if you, this of course is a visual pattern, but it becomes music almost if we imagine that we have a timeline here, and then it turns from being a pattern to being a sequence. And music also has implicit rules. And with a rule, I mean that if something happens in the music, you should expect that this would continue, this would follow. And you learn these things just by being exposed to music. And this creates anticipation. So you have always a feeling, what will happen next in the music? And if it doesn't, you have this reaction. So if there is suddenly an unexpected tone, you get this astonishment. And you can actually measure this by EEG. So it's exactly what was shown earlier. The EEG, you put these things on the scalp, and it measures the voltage of the brain waves. And so if surprise reaction, you see this sudden bump in the curve. And that occurs even if you are not aware of music, even if you are engaged in a computer game and you suddenly hear an unexpected tone. Music is also connected to memories. The phenomenon is sometimes called, "Darling, they are playing our tune." And it's amazing that when you come into a home with elderly people, and which are demented perhaps, and you play the good old songs, that they sort of start singing with you. They remember the tone, and they remember not only the tone, but details from when they heard it first. And they become emotionally alive. And this kind of memory is called autobiographical memory. So So we know a lot about what different parts of the brain and what different brain functions that are activated by music. And as I said before, to activate different parts and to involve in different activations means that you can develop new neurons. And the one advantage with music is that it doesn't take much concentration to listen to music, because, as I said, all these functions are pre-conscious, almost all of them. Of course you're conscious if you listen to music, but you can also be, for instance, have music in the background when you see a movie, and you're just as much emotionally involved in the movie because of the music as if you had listened attentively. So listen to music, if it's calm music, could be almost like sitting in front of the sea. And you see this enriched, very rich environment, these waves and movements and colors. And it's affecting you, but you can rest at the same time. And compared to using drugs to get moved emotionally, to get activated or motivated, or to be calmed, it's obvious that music has no side effects. So, this knowledge, how we interact with music and how we are affected by it, and the knowledge, large knowledge about how we are affected by the environment, should be systematically used in the future. If you imagine a hospital, there is no such hostile place, no place so frightening to go into as most hospitals are. So I think that a hospital should, by its environment, communicate care and tenderness and love and inspiration for those people who needs it the most. And I see two possible ways to use environment. One is VR simulators. Just as we spend a lot of money building simulators for pilots or captains to drive big boats, we could also have simulators for people who are learning to walk and to do simple things in their kitchen, to drive a car, people who have suffered from stroke and who want to come back to life again. So this is what I see for the future. Thank you.